morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I want to ask the question whether Evolving Skies might actually have been the best set ever. Now, some of you are thinking, hang on a second, Wassy. You did this the other day with Celebrations, asking whether that might actually be the best set ever, and the answer is yes. Yes, I did. And I think that set, that video, got a really good discussion going, and I think there are just a couple of other modern sets that we can maybe make an argument could actually be the best set ever, and I thought that over the next couple of weeks we should have a chat about these as well. But I know for a lot of people, this is their favourite set. Especially for people that have been playing, and collecting really since the beginning of Sword and Shield. For an awful lot of people, Evolving Skies is going to be it. This is going to be the set where they go, yeah, nothing's cooler than that. Now, it doesn't have the theming of Celebrations. Obviously, Celebrations was that 25th anniversary set with the whole theme, and it was reprinting old cards like the Charizard. But for a lot of people, this set is way, way better. And I'll tell you this. Since the beginning of Sword and Shield, there is only one set that has really held its value and been difficult to get hold of, at least at retail. There is only one set where booster boxes jumped up pretty quickly and never really came down, and you had to catch them on a restock and be quick and all of that. And that set was Evolutions. Evolutions is an absolute monster of a set. And the answer very simply is, it's got the Evolutions in. Evolutions was full of Evolutions, not an official term, and that made everyone go just over the top. Now remember, some of the VMAXs were actually missing, because Espeon was a promo in Japan that was bumped into the later set Fusion Strike, the next set, and your Gen 1ers were promos in Japan that became promos over here. But that still left a bunch of VMAXs in this set for people to get very, very excited about, including what has gone down as the card from the Sword and Shield era, the entire block, the card. It's Moonbryon. It is your alt art Umbreon VMAX, your however you want to call it. That is the card. And certainly in terms of Sword and Shield as a whole, the entire block from the base set through to the end in Silver Tempest, this is the card. And it's the biggest card, the most expensive card, the most sought after card. Phrase it how you will, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Like, as I record this, according to TCG Player, which is not perfect, but it's a decent place to look for something like this, this is still like a $500 card. And it's actually been coming down lately. Still a $500 card, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of started falling in about the last 6 months. It's going to go up again at some point. It is huge. But that's not the only one we had. We also had Leafeon with a Hyganasuke artwork, which I need to sort out getting this card, because I'm going to regret it if I don't. It's absolutely stunning. Sylveon, which I did pull, and I still need to figure out a trade. Sylveon for Leafeon. Hit me up on Twitter at @TheWassy if you want to do that trade. And then I can, find my Sylveon. It's around here somewhere. If you want to trade it for the Hyganasuke Leafeon, let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Sylveon's cool, but I need that Leafeon because I love me some Hyganasuke. And then we had Glaceon as well. We had the quartet. Only 4 of them, because as I said, the other half were taken out and used in other places. But that was enough. Having those 4 cards as the real highlight of the set, that was pretty awesome. But there was one other alternate art VMAX that came around in the set, and it was Rayquaza. And Rayquaza actually, in terms of value, is second only to the Umbreon. It beats out the other 3 Evolutions. It's coming in at about a $250 card, whereas Evolutions are all around the $140, $150-ish mark. They're all pretty similar, the other Evolutions. But the Rayquaza and the Umbreon are far above. It is a redonkulous set. The thing is, even if we get away from the VMAXs, if we just focus in on the Vs, there were loads. There was Leafeon. Let's ignore value for the minute and just look at how cool they are. We got the Leafeon. We've got the Glaceon. We've got the Espeon. The Espeon did actually make it in. The Gen 1 still not in here. They were also promos, but this one did make it in. We've got the Metacham. We've got the Umbreon, we've got Dragonite, we've got Rayquaza, we've got the amazing Mitsuhiro Arita Noivern, we've got Duraludon. This was a phenomenal set, and actually I forgot to mention a minute ago, there was Duraludon VMAX as well. It's very much the lesser of the alternate art VMAXs in the set. I don't think that's an unfair statement, but we should at least acknowledge that it is in the set, and it is a very cool, very beautiful card, but completely overshadowed by all the other VMAXs in the set. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, overshadowed by all the EVs as well. I mean, it's sitting down as like a $15 card. It's below the full art Umbreon. But it's still a very, very cool card, and I like it very much indeed. And that's the thing that makes Evolving Skies such a ridiculous set. Because sure, you've got the high end with Umbreon and Rayquaza, but a lot of sets have the high end. But then you just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. You know, Umbreon's a very popular Pokemon, and as well as the Umbreon VMAX Alt Art and the Umbreon V Alt Art, you've also got the V Full Art and the VMAX Rainbow Rare. It just keeps going and going and going. And, you know, Rayquaza, you've got the alternate art V and VMAX, but then you've got the Full Art V, and then you've got the Rainbow Rare VMAX. This is a set that just keeps going and going and going and going. There are a dozen cards in this set that have broken the $50 mark. A dozen! That's absurd, ladies and gentlemen. And I think a minute ago I forgot to mention Sylveon, the Alt Art Sylveon. So let me just throw that one in there now, because that's a stunning card as well. And I didn't mention Golurk. That's kind of my point about this set. I forgot to mention Sylveon and Golurk a second ago, and there are a lot of alternate arts in this set. And there are so many amazing alternate arts, I literally missed a couple out. And that was a pretty hefty list a minute ago. This is a set that's got so many amazing alternate arts. I mean, Celebrations was a 25 card set. I think I've mentioned 21 cards just at the top end here. Absolutely ridiculous. So look, if we're talking about collectability and cool cards, yeah, Evolving Skies is one of the best sets we've ever had, hands down. And it really is very, very, very easy. It is a monster set for collectors and people like King Cool Stuff. It really is that good. What about playability, though? Because one of the things I told you about Celebrations was, as well as being a very cool theme set, 8 of the 24 cards, I know I said 25, but remember Celebrations had 2 prints of Professor's Research in the 25 cards, so really it was a 24 card set. 8 of the 24 cards, not including Professor's Research, so really 9 out of 24, but a third of the set was legit playable. And that is one of the things that made Celebrations so gosh darned ridiculous, was that it was a 25 card set that was somehow absolutely rammed full of playable cards. Where does Evolving Skies come in terms of playability? Because if we're going to call it the best set ever, I don't think just being awesome and collectible is good enough. I think we need it to be playable. And honestly, yeah, this is a set that really kind of shook up the metagame. Like, you've got your fringier ones. Leafeon's seen a little bit of play here and there, but it's not exactly taken over the format. And you've got stuff like Rayquaza, which I was always convinced was going to be great. Attack that can do near limitless damage, draw ability. Really thought it was going to be great. Never ended up being great. But then there was a bunch of stuff in this set that just was. Espeon V Max, giving you protection. That's a very good card that's seen a bunch of play. Sylveon V and V Max has been a very, very good deck on and off pretty much since we've come around, because it's got a really good attack that does a huge amount of damage, but don't sleep on Sylveon V that can search for an item card, and sure, it ends your turn, but it sets you up for next turn, which is really good. We've seen Umbreon V Max, which has seen a bunch of play and a bunch of success, being able to do a bunch of gusting, which is really, really very, very good. Duraludon V Max has been one of the best decks and the best cards really since it initially released. It's been really, really good. And then you got stuff like Zoroark, which can turn into any stage 1 in your discard. That's been really good. Galarian Moltres has been a great tech in a bunch of decks. Don't forget about Medicham and its Yoga Loop that gives you an extra turn, which has been an absolute beast. Just won Barcelona Regionals, or special event really, very recently. Pumpkaboo bumping stadiums has seen a bunch of play. Flaffy accelerating lightning energy is part of the Miraidon deck, which is absolutely crushing now, one of the very, very best decks in the format. And, I mean, that's before we even get to trainers. I've not even mentioned any trainers yet. And there are a few coming in here. Rescue Carrier. That's pretty good. Raihan, seen a bunch of play here and there. It's not the best set we've ever seen for trainers, but we got stuff like Crystal Cave, which has seen some play, and Boost Shake, which is a very interesting card for evolving your Pokemon. And it's just a really, really, really good set. This is not one of those fringe sets which has added a couple of cards. This is a very good set which has added a bunch. And that is why I think we can legitimately talk about Evolving Skies as one of the best sets ever. Yes, the headline of the set is clearly the collectability and all the amazing cards we've seen with that awesome artwork. No argument there. But there's more. And that is what I think really elevates Evolving Skies. It's that collectability combined with a significant number of cards which have seriously impacted the metagame. I mean, if we look at the last 4 regional level events, we've got Pittsburgh, second place was Miraidon, only really works with Flaffy. And then we can look at Barcelona, which was won by a Rapid Strike deck, which is very much reliant on Metacham's Yoga Loop. In Curitiba, apologies for the pronunciation, over in Brazil, we saw a 5th place finish for Arceus with Umbreon. Okay, fine, it wasn't top 4, but still 5th place finish for Umbreon. And then over in Peoria, we saw a 4th place finish for Jesse Parker with Flaffy. Okay, Miraidon with Flaffy. But you get my point here. If we look at the regional championships, which are going on now, bearing in mind 8 expansions, main expansions plus a couple special, but 8 main expansions have been released since Evolving Skies. And we are still seeing the top tables and the top cut of every tournament featuring decks which only really work because of cards released in Evolving Skies. This is a proper top tier set for playability and collectability, and that's why I think it might be the actual best set ever. Is it better than Celebrations? I suppose it depends, ladies and gentlemen. Depends on what you think, and I would love to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. Oh, and get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely, not stalling for time, Andy White, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now, and is an awesome person, so shout out to them for the support and the awesomeness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.